All right, taping this is Milton Ratner. It's June 15th, 2011. Sir Milton Ratner is talking about his experience on storming the Omaha Beach in Normandy on D-Day.
My producer is Mrs. Susanne Ratner, and she's also doubling as photographer, so put your blame on her. Okay. I wrote this yesterday, as she said, on Flag Day, but I'm saying it the 15th of June, the day after. And it's really my version of my day on D-Day, June 6, 1944. If I'm a little breathless, it's because I'm 92 years old and have a little lung problem. Most wars do not have immediate, clear-cut outcomes, but are rather more a series of defeats and victories, and hopefully a final victory. D-Day, June 6, 1944 in Normandy, France, was such an example of the vagaries and ups and downs of warfare. Our High Command had initially called for the 5th of June for the invasion of France. The basis for this was a combination of factors: the heights of the tides in the morning on the French coast, the weather, the barriers in the shore waters, and the intricate assemblage of the 5,000 necessary ships and men on the southern English coast. The final decision was postponed by one day to June the 6th by General Eisenhower, our Supreme Commander. This was done because of the slight overnight improvement in beach conditions and from the terrible storms on June the 5th to a lesser storm on the 6th. The British High Command successfully used deception to mislead the Germans. They built fake dummy towns in England. They built cardboard and wooden fake airplanes and even put soldiers' uniformed dead bodies in the wrong ocean-tide places. The Germans were deceived and divided into two camps of thought, and this kept their best army divisions in the rear and undecided as to where the invasion might be. My Coast Guard amphibious force of 24 LCILs, which is an acronym for Landing Craft Infantry Lodge, and our force was primarily used to carry troops into and onto the sands of the beach. They would, by using stern motors and rear anchor cables, to reverse and pull themselves back off the beach. My ship was the LCI 90, and I was the executive officer, second in command. If the skipper, the commanding officer, were to be hurt, it was to be my job to take over command. To train for the invasion, we did practice invasions on the English sandy beaches in Devon, southern England. Some of the towns were Plymouth, Portsmouth, Falmouth, and Weymouth. The last, Weymouth, was my post base, home base. Fortunately, the weather overnight abated somewhat from terrible to just bad, and because the soldiers were cramped below decks and were seasick, General Eisenhower decided that the invasion was on. Now, ordinarily, an LCI carries 150 to 165 men below decks on cramped cots. However, because of manpower needs, and also because it was a comparatively short run of 25 miles from the English southern coast to the French Normandy north coast, they doubled the numbers to 300 per craft. My 90 was to beach on Sector Easy Green on Omaha Beach. This was to aim at Saint-Mère-Église, a small church crossroad town on the road to the large city of Cherbourg. We were to land at about 7 a.m. The Germans, however, had not only mined the approach waters with iron spikes called hedgehogs, but also with ramps on poles with telemines hidden on them. The cross breach currents also sent up a confused traffic situation for our ships. Our demolition teams had only been able to blow open a few traffic lanes, and these were under cannon and machine gun fire. My ship made it to the shore, but many of the soldiers carrying 70 and 80-pound packs on their backs were drowned, and others were hit by bullets and shrapnel. I, as exec, hurried the soldiers down the twin ramps, and they crawled and ran up to a slight stone barrier and on the upper sands. And can you cut it for a minute? I got to take a rest.